because I do theater. He says, can't you write us a play? We can do a little play. And what happens in this play is, remember, these are all sanitarians. They're the people who go to restaurants to inspect it and see if they're following the rules and aren't contaminating things and all that kind of stuff.
Sorry, do they work for the health department?
Yes. Yeah, they're all usually out of city, county, health departments, and it's their job. If there's an epidemic comes, there's an outbreak of a disease, it's their job to go there and try to run it down and find out where it came from. So we presented it. We probably won't do that last page. If we get to the last page, I'll just explain when we get there. Yeah, there's extra people in here that could do that. I know Jason would like to do it. He could do Sam.
Boy.
He is Ella.
I'm not getting me started yet.
Ella.
I'm going to record. I'm going to put my okay.
We can do Sam. We can be Sam when the time comes
Okay.
up. No, wait. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay, and I should probably get my phone as a prop, right?
Yes. You know, it's carry it in your pocket anyway. So, what happens there is at the end of the play, Sam's line is, I don't know, what do you guys think? And that was presented to all of these, and there were 100 or so of them there, 150. And they got to ask questions to try to narrow it down, and then they were supposed to come up with what they thought was the source of the outbreak. And actually, they did a pretty good job. There's 2 or 3 possible ones, but I can tell you why it wouldn't be the one that you might think. So we'll set the scene here. You have to imagine with the props. Imagine that we actually rehearsed this.
And I didn't have time to
No. So we're husband and wife, and I, as the husband, am sitting in a chair. It's loaded up with something.
Here. And we wheeled this here. Let's just
Where's it?
wheel.
Oh, yeah. That's a better chair.
Did you specialize in improv, Mr. Bum?
Huh?
Did you specialize in improv? I said, did you specialize in
We should probably go on
improvisation?
this side of the.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, here we've got brains.
We have brains.
All kinds of good stuff. We could get out here.
And the title of this thing is The Gourmet Cookout.
You're reading the newspaper. It's
I'm reading the
nice.
newspaper.
Yeah.
Fortunately, it's got the lines in it.
Honey, I have the best. He's honey. Honey, I have the best idea for a cookout.
That's nice.
I think we should have a gourmet cookout.
That's nonsense. That's an oxymoron.
No, dear, no need to get hostile. Just because you didn't think of it. Why is that an oxymoron?
Everybody knows a cookout is beer and brats, chips, hot dogs, sauerkraut, stuff like that. Ever hear of a gourmet hot dog?
There's no reason not to have gourmet food cooked out, and that can make it a gourmet cookout. Now, just listen to some of the ideas the girls have come up with.
The girls. Okay, let's hear it.
Well, for starters, Emily found a fountain for champagne. They used it at a wedding reception, but for some reason they haven't used it for a while. Anyway, champagne instead of beer is really improvement. She even has several bottles left from their son's wedding.
Go on.
Well, Bob went fishing last year at Lake Michigan and smoked some salmon and trout, and that would be a gourmet treat. This year he was up north and he even got lake trout. That's better than hot dogs.
Well, I'll agree with that. I get your drift, but hey, I know. How about my venison?
You guys already have your wild game dinner in the fall, and with all of that kind of stuff. Besides, everyone knows about that TB problem with the deer, and we don't want any of it.
But,
Well, there's David's buffalo steaks, and Shannon had a bear last year. I'll bet they would contribute some, and you would grill it. It's
Well, it may work. I mean, it sounds good so far. Fresh strawberries and homemade ice cream with champagne is great. George and Janet make great ice cream from their own cow's milk. It's not spoiled by all that pasteurization.
Now you're talking. We can get seafood from Aunt Elena from Chesapeake Bay. She always sends it. Maybe clams, mussels, lobster or two.
Yeah.
That would be great. I think they still do their own clamming.
Oh, raw oysters on the half shell, washed down with some of that good Travis Bay white wine.
We can get special salad greens from the garden and harvest our own lamb's quarters and milkweed to add to it. Just remember, don't get them out in that field where they still spray.
Oh yeah, they're spraying all sorts of stuff. Oh, don't forget the parsley. And Jody and Jim make their own mayonnaise with their own eggs, so we'll know it'll be fresh. They can provide the salad dressing.
Well, I hope they can come. I hear Judy is finally recovered from that bout of jaundice she had last winter. Maybe she can bring...
What about serving dishes? If it's gourmet, we can't use paper plates and plastic.
Oh, absolutely not. We'll have china and crystal and silverware. Jenny can bring some of her antique serving pitchers. The ones she always brags about have that beautiful blue kind of coating on it. We can put fresh squeezed orange juice or freshly made tomato juice in there. If we make it right before, we can keep it refrigerated in that crockery will keep really cold.
Okay. So let's see. We have smoked salmon, brook trout, a few bear, buffalo steaks, clams, oysters, mussels as appetizers, garden fresh green salads, homemade dressings, cold orange juice or tomato juice. Oh, let's add roasted sweet corn, followed by homemade ice cream, strawberries, and champagne. Now that is gourmet.
Let's do it. We'll pick the date and invitations after I've confirmed with everyone what they need.
Scene 2. This is the cookout. You can imagine. Now at the grill. And I've got my, what do I got here? I've got pork. I got 2 separate dishes. I'm smart enough to know that. I got the one we cook and the one we
I'll bring the playlist here. Hang on.
We know about the salmonella. We don't eat any undercooked meat. At least we don't have pork and trichinosis. There we go. So this is the meat to be cooked. I got the stuff here, and I'm going to cook it and put it when it's cooked over here. All right. So we're cooking away on here.
We got a fresh nice.
Yes, we can pick up here and cook that one. All right. So keep an eye on it. Okay. At least we don't have the pork and the trichinosis.
That's okay. I'm glad to hear that here. We don't want to have anyone get sick following our gourmet feast. Are you keeping the bear and the buffalo separate? We want everyone to know what they're eating.
Yep. Yes, dear, the bear goes on the long china platter, and the buffalo is on stainless steel. The trout is stuffed and wrapped in foil. We have a platter lined with watercress from the woods for this time. How's everything inside?
Well, it's fine, dear. Let's see. Jody left their dressing this morning, and she'll be right back. They had to check on their new baby chicks. They have some diarrhea. Oh, and
Salmonella.
Here. Okay. You know, we didn't get the lobster. That didn't come in. Did you see those clams and mussels? The steamer should be all ready when we can get them done. At least they arrive in good condition. I'm not sure about those oysters. Maybe we should saute them instead of raw. What do you think?
well, how about we leave it up to the guests? If they want them raw, the wine is on ice, ready to wash them down. Otherwise, you can saute them right out here. I'll have a pan ready.
Okay. Let's leave it up to the guests. if they want them raw, they can use it, wash them down.
Speaking
By the way, where are all the guests? I only see those who were asked to bring something. I don't see anybody else.
Oh no, we've been so busy, I didn't really check. No one RSVP'd that they weren't coming. You did mail the invitations, didn't you, dear? Yes.
I was supposed to mail the invitations?
I put them in your jacket pocket like you told me to. You was going to mail them at work the other day.
When you watch the grill, I got to see, I haven't worn that jacket in weeks.
Right.
Do you suppose that have the invitations right here? You think I could call them and tell them that it's a come as you are gourmet?
Well, I guess that's all we can do right now. Not much more we can do at this point.
No. Okay, that's scene 2. Scene 3 takes place after the cookout, a few days later.
Well, I'm glad everyone could come, but you know what? This is the 5th call we've gotten. It seems half our guests are vomiting and have diarrhea. What do you think happened?
Well, we need to investigate. Where can we find someone who knows how to do this?
Where indeed?
Remember, we're talking to 150 people who are trained to do this. I'll turn to them.
So
Now,
quick change.
she is now the health department.
Environmental health, may I help you?
Yes, is this where I call about people getting sick?
Yes, it is. What restaurant are you referring to?
Well, it wasn't a restaurant, but it was gourmet.
Gourmet? Caterer?
Well, sort of. My wife and I had a gourmet cookout.
Sir, let me connect you to the sanatorium. Sam can answer your questions. Sam, you're on.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, wait,
You're still on.
Oh. Oh, sorry. Like I said, I didn't memorize the script. Okay.
Hello.
Sam, I have a complaint for you.
Okay, what is it this time?
Okay, this guy calls about a bunch of people that got sick at a gourmet cookout. And one old guy's in the hospital. They said he had a stroke.
Oh, great. I guess I'll better call Ella to help out in this one.
Whatever. Are you Ella? Okay. Here,
Oh, I know I got this. Hello.
Hey, Veronica. We've got a big one brewing.
It's Ella. What?
The secretary just called me and said that we've got a bunch of people sick. Can you meet me at the office? We have a ton of phone calls to make.
Okay, I'll be there in 15 minutes.
Okay, I'll get the foodborne investigation team together.
Yeah. C5.
Well, all the phone calls are completed.
I don't think we're on the phone anymore. The right word at my office.
That's true.
And the Form Bs are done.
Now, what do you think it is?
I don't know. What do you guys think?
Now there's your job to tell us what you see could have gone wrong,
So much.
or
There's a
what
ton of stuff.
things could be causing the epidemic.
Okay. Can I just say, Professor North, maybe really ugly woman?
When people left to go check on the chickens, what kind of dressing was that was left? Where was it left? And for how long? Fresh
So, the fresh mayo.
Anything else about that
Made
meal?
with the
Yeah,
eggs.
the chickens who have diarrhea, like they're
Oh, yeah.
obviously sick.
The chickens that laid the eggs had diarrhea.
When you ran your hands through your hair, was that in the script?
Did I do that? What difference does that make?
Because you had the glove in your hand and you did it.
You mean, and I touched food or something?
So what kind of
What month is it?
What month? Summer.
Oysters are out of season. They're only in season in months that end in R.
What's that?
Oysters are out of season. They're only in season in months that end in R. When the weathers are too warm, they start picking up too much bacteria on the bottom of the surface.
So we have warm weather oysters. See, shows what we know.
That's good. What else is required with the
Midwest
oysters?
And as you said, were they steamed, were they raw, how were they consumed, and who consumed them?
Yep. Good. Okay.
People could ask if they wanted them sauteed or not, so obviously that would have probably helped to kill some stuff.
Oysters.
Especially
Yeah.
after that's melted.
Give me a second.
Right, that's your-
Oysters, clams now have to be harvested from certified beaches, so you can't just go anywhere and get them. But a lot of people still do. That's good. Yes, ma'am. You did. Oh, yeah. Unpasteurized milk. Is that a problem? Anybody here get raw milk? Nobody here? You know, it's legal to do it. You know the loophole that's there, the voice loophole? You're allowed to raise your own cows and harvest your own milk, make your own butter and do all that. So what people do is they buy an interest in a cow. So there might be 100 people, or not quite that many, cows don't give that much milk. You know, 10, 20 people might buy a percentage of a cow so they can say, we own that cow. So they can go get that milk. They can bring it home unpasteurized. So it's legal, but it's
Right.
yeah, that's a good one. What else?
You know, they even have in the news review to farms that are promoting that, and you can call and
Yep.
What about the watercress
Watercress. Yeah.
and the lamb's ear, the lamb's quarters and stuff from the field?
Yep. We don't know what the field was sprayed with.
wild salad greens.
And botulism E, limp neck in the fish?
Yep, there you go. Botulism, all the Great Lakes, the fish, especially the deep fish you get from deep, may have botulism in it. And I think if you follow the news this summer, a lot of loons died from botulism.
What about parasites in the bear?
Parasites in the bear parasites.
And-
Wesley was mentioned.
And I was a little suspicious about the steel platter.
The steel platter, yeah.
Yeah, the China platter.
Steel isn't so bad, but there was one other thing in there that had metal poisoning. Did you pick it up?
The antique with we don't know what it was painted with. We don't know what it was coated with. It could have been coated with lead for all we know.
Well, those champagne things, the outside is fine, but what you don't notice, but as time goes on, it wears off and you get down to the base metals, copper and like that. That can be poisonous, especially with the acidic stuff coming on. Okay? So,
Kind of like a still.
yeah. So that's why they made them illegal and you can't use them. There's another metal poisoning place in there too. Anybody pick that up? The antique pictures with the blue stuff on the outside, boron, and particularly if you put acid in those, it leaches out that chemical. So that chemical poisoning, by the way, usually happens fairly.
The orange juice.
But you have orange juice or tomato juice in it, sitting overnight, and then you pour it out. Okay. There's another one that's kind of hidden in there. Just, we could go down the script maybe, because I know it's kind of champagne.
The fresh eggs and the chicken diarrhea.
Yeah. We got chicken diarrhea, and of course we make mayonnaise from fresh eggs, and that had it in there. Actually, the lady who made the dressing of the salad, you would wash your salads, right? And where did she get her water from? She had her own well, country growing it. She washed the salads with contaminated water. That's a good source. Forget it. We're making it. And I think she made lemonade, but I'm saying about that.
Was there something about the strawberries?
Strawberries. Yeah, okay, there you go. See, we talked about the gal and said, oh, she's recovered from her jaundice. What's her jaundice? Hepatitis, probably. So she could have had hepatitis when she washed and repaired that. So that's another source. That's a good one. Serving dishes. And when she reconstituted the orange juice, what did she use? Where's the water? Okay. I think you got most of them, but I'm not going to tell you guys the answer because they're going to try to figure it out in report class. But I'll tell you probably. I'll tell you later what they determined
Keep you in suspense.
what it is. You like oysters or something? You knew about that, so you.
Yeah, actually, when I lived down in Florida, I used to go into a place that served oysters all the time, and that's what I found out the most about it.
Yep. Very good. Okay, I had a line in here that says this. Oh, and she's bringing punch made with fresh juice and homemade ginger ale. That's another thing. How does she make her ginger ale? Right, that's what I have. Oh. Our lessons are taking off. Okay. You don't have any more questions?